This is Family Like a Ghost, and this episode is Josephine Has a Use for You, Fetish Bondage Grooves. And as we said before, the lead singer of Family Like a Ghost is a creation of subtractive synthesis using the Roland Vocal Transformer VT4. When we first started the Ghost, we used the Roland JDXI. We used the soprano mode on my voice to turn myself into Josephine. And we play Josephine like we've talked to people about it as as a method actor type of situation where we've gone into her character and we kind of go all in. So Josephine's origin comes from some short stories I wrote when I went to Bowdoin College. And I created a play called September. And she is the sister of Stephanie Ann Windhover. Stephanie Ann Windhover actually appeared first in September as a ghost that was in this science fiction little novelette. And the idea is, the Windhover girls, which I talked about in some of our first releases on Synesthesia, Sweet Neo Soul Surrender, there's a couple of Windhover girl songs. And they, in those songs, they go to the rave, they're very aggressive and assertive and kind of, they rule the rave. They kind of are the focus of everyone's attention. They just, they know what they want. They know what they want to do. Lately, we've actually had a song where we discussed the origin of Josephine. And we wrote a song called A Loss Too Deep for Words, where we describe the situation where she's negotiating the curves of her lover while she's driving a fast machine on a dangerous mountain road. They have an argument. Josephine crashes the car, and then that accident creates her rebirth, and she's born again as Josephine Electric, and she is lost in limbo in a way that she can't fully die. She can't go to the next world. She's kind of stuck here. She's stuck on Earth, and then she has to deal with the curse of that. Her argument with her lover, killed her lover, and then they killed her. But then she was brought back, and then now she's Josephine Electric. But this song here, or this group of songs that we're talking about today, these Fetish Bondage Grooves. What's interesting about this is we used some online manuals that Moog did when they had the big festival this year at the actual convention for all the synths this year, and they put out a book, a little pamphlet, a PDF, and then this PDF are all these ideas of how to link the Mother 32 and the drummer from Another Mother. And one particular idea that we're very interested in is there's a patch that actually shows you how to create a 3 oscillator synth between the Moog Mother 32 and the drummer from Another Mother. We wired it up and ran it through our Eurorack. We have an Arturia Mini Brute 2S and a Arturia 6U. We ran the VCA into the Arturia 2S after we created this 3 oscillator monster. And the interesting thing is, like, the Mother 32 controls what waveform it's going to be, and then it also has all the controls over the oscillators are through the Mother 32. And it makes a very fat, almost like Moog, System 55, System 33 sound. It's very old school. It doesn't sound exactly like the Mini Moog. It sounds a little older than that. So we used it. It had a real fatness. We seemed to be able to do some paraphonic chords. We were able to do like 3-finger chords because the 3 oscillators. And we were just very excited with the sound. So we went and created a bunch of songs. And one of the first songs we did is Rave Trappin' Round, which is like a rave trance trap creation that we used some interesting tones and rhythmic patterns from the Mother 32. using the white noise to trigger a lot of cool stuff. And so that song was kind of like, okay, what can we do with this? Then we went in and did 88 keys on my piano, You Wretch, which is kind of a diss track to a former collaborator that Josephine worked with, where we had written the song and then it got put on the shelf because of some sensitivity, some like PC sensitivity. And the fact is, there are 88 keys on a full size piano. And so, like, what is the problem? You can actually say 88 keys. There's not an issue with saying that if you're talking musically about what those keys are, not some other thing. So we took this idea and we had Josephine pretty much, coming down real hard on this person, thinking that, they pretty much were too overly sensitive and they just were, not really artistic and kind of destroyed a really good song because of a lot of bullshit, really. So we've been very hung up in this whole breakup of that situation because the person was like a real ridiculous person. In terms of like, if you're really into working on a project, you don't dump the project because of some social media tiff. But they did. And Josephine is very annoyed with this person, will probably be for a long time. But this song is just kind of what it represents is the frustration with the ignorance and stupidity of that person. So, and the other song that we did here is one that we did last night, which was the 29th of September, using the same 3 oscillator synth. We played with the VCA, we played with some of the white noise, we played with some other settings on the Mother to kind of widen the sound. Then we also ran it through the Make Noise maths module in the Eurorack, and that's a utility module we've talked about before, but it creates exponential logarithmic processing of the signal. It also does like LFO and delay processing. So on top of that, we played with different levels of the VCA on and off. We also played with the MX1 performance mixer, used some digital delay into this sound to kind of give it some more presence. And it becomes very fat and very powerful. And it basically is Josephine in her dungeon playing a dominatrix, fetishizing her partner and getting into it pretty heavy. And so, this work says, she's got fetish uses for her lover and she's going to do it pretty hard. And that's her. She's pretty rough. She's pretty rambling on the move, alpha, dominatrix, dominant one. So you better watch out for her. And we're pretty excited about what we're able to do with these songs. The cool thing about having Euroracks or modular synths is you can always reinvent what you can do. We're trying to work toward creating even a bigger synth in that we have 2 oscillators in Arturia Mini Brew 2S that we want to try to stack into this concept. We think we need some stackable cables in order to get this done, because using the routing solution we have right now, if we get a stackable cable solution, we could probably add the other 2 oscillators into this workflow just by mirroring the workflow we already have. So we're going to get into that from ZZ Sounds or Sweetwater. We're very interested right now in a couple of synths that we're going to talk about again. And we think like the new Roland Phantom is a really good choice if you're a musician that's a producer. And instead of looking at like an Akai Force or an MPX, the Phantom is the old school traditional workstation. And the benefit is like if you're a musician, you're a keyboardist, you'd probably rather use the Phantom than use like Ableton directly, just because one of the cool things about using the Phantom is you have the direct input of everything on the keyboard. In this new Phantom, what's different, which some people maybe haven't totally picked up on, is the fact that it's got a synth workflow built into it. The kind of classic Roland synth flow, which is basically the Moog sync flow, going back to the mini Moog, but you can go left to right and you've got control of the oscillators, control of the filters, control of the envelope generators. And then you've got some other cool things. Then you've got partials, kind of like a D50. And you've got a virtual joystick that you can kind of mix the partials together, kind of like a D50. And then on top of all these PCM waveforms and a new Zen core, which also includes like the RD piano, which is a pretty cool thing. It has a lot of, the analog behavioral modeling, but not exactly, because the Zen core does it in a different way. But we do have an analog filter on this machine, which actually replicates a bunch of Roland classic filters. It has like band pass, it's got state variable, and then it's got the filter from the Jupiter 8. I think it's got the 106. It's got a lot of things that the System 8 has. The ability to do all these different filter modifications, and it looks like it's going to be able to replicate them in the future. The one thing it doesn't seem to be able to do is it doesn't seem to be able to do what the System 8 does, because I guess they're leaving that to the Jupiter X and the Jupiter XM, which is kind of frustrating, because the Phantom, if it had the full ACB, you could have everything. But it's pretty much got so many sounds that it takes famous sounds from almost every Roland machine that ever was. So to me, if the best of all worlds, it's missing a couple of things, and it can't do a full ACB like a System 8, but it does have so much in it. And then the analog filter is very impressive, because even a System 8 doesn't have a full analog filter. It's like a virtual analog filter, but this is a true analog filter circuit. So if you look at that, that's pretty cool. We haven't seen some analog goodness in Roland since like a JDXI and the JDXA, which I really love. I have both of those, and I use them. I use that all the time. But what's also interesting is then you look at this system, and it pretty much gives you everything you need. You can write the whole song. It's got an interesting sequencer. It's got all the Roland drum machines you want. And then the RD piano, and the fact that you could mix an RD piano with like a Jupiter pad or something, that's pretty cool. But the other thing that's out there, that if you're a sound designer, you can't pass up on a couple other synths. Like the big one is the Moog Matriarch, which gives you a 4 oscillator paraphonic powerhouse with like over 90 patch points. And if you got a Eurorack, you're kind of like salivating at the thought of this machine, because it's pretty powerful, and it's got an awesome keypad. It's bigger than the grandmother. It's going toward the size of like a Voyager, but not as big as a Voyager, and not as big as a Moog 1, but it gives you an option that, like, if you can't get a Moog 1 and you're looking at the Sub 37 and you want something a little more powerful, the Matriarch is the premier synth, if you can't get the Moog 1. Because you can do a lot of interesting things on the Matriarch that you probably can't do exactly on the Moog 1. I mean, the Moog 1 can do everything in the world with its full polyphony, but the fact it doesn't have the kind of modular nature that the Matriarch has, and so the Matriarch is appealing to anybody who's real heavy into modular gear. The other synth that's very interesting is the Hydra synth, which is a wavetable synth, and it's got a good price point at $1,300 compared to the Moog, which is almost $2,000. And then if you got the Phantom, it's over $3,000. And so if you're trying to get the budget sound designer system and you're not hung up on the fact that it's a full digital synth, I would look at the Hydra synth. It's got a very interesting workflow. It's probably one of the most interesting workflows we've seen since some of the classic workflows that we've seen from like Prophet, Roland, and Moog. They found a way to do wavetable synthesis without a lot of menu diving, because of the diagram module system and the ability to take a lot of the OLEDs and swap them out as you're going through the workflow, which gives you a compact workflow. It's kind of knob per function without having every knob present, which is a very cool idea. And it looks like the sound capabilities of the synth are awesome. I've heard it do really good organs, electric pianos. I haven't heard it do any kind of piano. So I was kind of like, I'm very much into having synths that have good piano, which kind of means you got to get a workstation synth or something like a Prophet X, and then now the new Roland Phantom or Korg Kronos. But I'm very interested in the Matriarch and the Hydra synth. But the Hydra synth, I'm not sure if it can do pianos. I haven't heard a sample of a piano, a straight piano on it. So I'm not sure if it can replicate. You would think if it's a wavetable synth, it should be able to do it. It has so many different waveforms, you should be able to get a decent piano out of it. But it's not built like an RD piano system. It's not built to be as perfect or like what you get on a Prophet X, where you get like a great like German piano in 1928 grand piano. You got all these really awesome pianos, and the RD's got all these things where you can lift the hood and lid, and you can tune the strings. You can do all these things. And if you're going to play piano, with a synth, you kind of need a synth that will do that. And that kind of gets you out of the analog world in some ways. You got to get PCM or sampled waveforms to get a decent piano. But, you got to make a decision. The fan has pretty much everything you need. And it's got the analog filters, so you can do a lot of cool stuff there. It's got a lot of links to modular gear, so you could bring in all kinds of cool things. They show people using an SDO2. I would think you could do a DO5 into it. You do a lot of cool stuff. And I could bring my modular rig into it and do a lot of interesting stuff. So we hope you like what's going on. We got a link to our CD that's out there on Amazon. The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb. There are still some other Phantom Electric Ghost CDs available, like our first CD, Something Wicked, and Indigo Menace. Synesthesia Neo Soul Surrender seems to be kind of sketchy. It's in and out of the Amazon store. You can check and see if it's there. But the cool thing about The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb is that it was totally recorded using the primary instrument of a Teenage Engineering the Teenage Engineering OPZ, and that is an awesome little machine. And we created this album primarily with that, with some flourishes from our hardware workflow. So check it out, and we'll talk to you later.
what a Moog is. Oh, what a Moog is. My mix. The 88 keys of my piano. To you. I hope you know what a Moog is. I hope you know what the reverse of this is. It's a kiss. Other 88 keys on my piano, bitch. Love me. Don't have to go back, text. What this is. Don't have to go. So fucking this. Don't have to go. Same bitch. I know what to do. Just gotta get the CV. You know how to put it in. You know what to put it into. It's not you. Love me. The 88 keys on my piano. Subtractive synthesis, all this is, all this DFAM, live so kiss, live so synthesis, it's all this is. I'm leaving shit, talking that so kiss. She know what this is. Subtractive synthesis, all this is. Subtractive synthesis, all this is. Leaving shit, idea that so kiss, idea should know the DFAM and what it is. Subtractive synthesis, rough mix, subtractive synthesis, and all this is, reverse of a fist, in a kiss, burst of a kiss, in the fist, about a fetish. Let's talk about that bondage group. Who do you want to? What do you believe is true? Let's talk about the fetish. And let's talk about the groove. Let's talk about the bondage. Who do you wanna do? Let's talk about fetish. Let's talk about the groove. Let's talk about the bondage between me and you. Let's talk about an age. It's a difference of truth. Let's talk about me doing you. Let's talk about the fetish, bondage, groove, bondage, groove. Let's talk about fetish. Let's talk about the groove. And let's talk about the bondage between me and you. Let's talk about the age. If the difference means something to you, let's talk about the range. You wanna get into that range too. That's not all I do. If I get into it with you, that's not all that I would do. If I get into that fetish bondage group. Machine love is not lie. When you do it with your eyes, the machine love is not lie. It's the only truth. When you put that CB in, out control. When you put that CB in, I'm asphyxiation blue. When you put that CB in, I feel that fetish bondage groove. When you put that CB in, somehow I feel close to you. Let's talk about the fetish. Let's talk about the groove. Let's talk about the bondage between me and you. Let's talk about the fetish. Let's talk about the groove. Let's talk about the bondage between me and you. Sex is the only truth. Sex is not all we do. It's asphyxiation bondage. And damage is the proof. The damage is the proof. The damage is all over you. The damage is the proof. And that damage is the with and without you, and with it and without you, and with within and without you. It's within and without you. It's all of and about you. It's all of and beyond you. Let's talk about the bondage. Let's talk about the truth. And let's talk about the fetish. And oral fixation with you. A rope fixation with you. Fixation with you. Bondage, fetish, bondage, a fetish, groove. And the bondage, a fetish, groove. Bondage, fetish, groove. Let's talk about bondage. Let's talk about the truth. Let's talk about the damage between me and you. And let's talk about the damage that's within and without you. That's within and without you. And let's talk about the damage that's within and without you. Let's talk about the damage that's within and without you. Raptured at the grave, captured by your grace, raptured at the grave, captured by your grace. It ain't fake. I don't wanna give it. Captured by your grace, captured by your grace, captured by your grace. This could be not fake. Bam, do it, bam, do it, captured by your grace, captured by your faith. You're all about hate. I think you can get replaced. I know you want to follow the dirt to ways. Never get you to fade. Step to get you to break. All the way, all the way. 32 steps from a mother to your fate. 32 steps and you're still gonna get laid. 32 steps and Stephanie wants to get paid. Every step that she makes. 32 steps from a mother to your fate. 32 steps and you still got no grace. 32 steps and a mother to your fate. Machine, you've gone down, boom. Machine, you've gone down, boom.